They always act like they're so far beyond you and so higher up, and really they beneath. Whether it's if they have more money or not, in spirit they beneath you. So they copy and watch every single thing that you do. They mock it and they hate on it and talk about it just to go and do the exact same thing. Envious. They want to be you. Having the things that you have or having more than you is not enough. People be envious of who you are, period. Your spirit, your energy. Envious of the way other people see you. That's why a lot of times people try to taint how other people see you. Because I know who you are, and I need other people to feel how I feel about you. So they try to control the narrative by controlling the crowd. Make everybody else tell lies to everybody else. And now you wondering why, people falling off the face of the earth are not really fucking with you like that. And that's because they're under the control of the person that is envious or jealous of you. Which that's weak bitch shit anyway, but it happens. They always.
And the last dream that I'm going to read is okay, let me just read it. Okay, so this was initially recorded on November 11th or November 14th. I'm looking at the 11th of the month, November 14th, 2023. And again, there will be screenshots on the screen. Initially, I was calling her Jada. I got to a period where I started to change her name a little bit. I typed it up as Jada because it was just traumatizing to think of her. It was traumatizing to even think of her or to hear her name. So I had a dream that Jada and I were together. This was a group of people, specifically 2 to 3 homeless men. And there was a group of people, specifically 2 to 3 homeless men in their late 40s, who came up to me and was telling me a story of how some man from a shelter they went to was being dogmatic and having a superiority complex towards them. Please take note of the repeating themes in this dream. People telling me, like in the dream where I mentioned privities, which I don't know what part that's going to be in. But these people are mentioning dogmatic people, corrupt people, people who are not practicing what they preach about, people who are in roles of leadership yet being dogmatic and having a superiority complex. So just take note of that and take note of who is present in this dream with me. Your guides are not going to directly tell you. Sometimes they will. Sometimes they will directly be like, hey, so-and-so is fucking you over in this way. But sometimes, and especially in the dream space, they're going to be kind of cryptic about it. It's going to come to you in a very abstract way. And it is your duty to decode it and gain that information. And see how it aligns with your life and how that person is actually treating you. Right? So they were telling me about how some man from a shelter they went to was being dogmatic and having a superiority complex with them. I was shocked to hear that another unhealed, non-healing person had the audacity to project their inferiority onto others to feel in control. I immediately said, don't listen to them. Then I was standing across from Jada and I got a cognitive psychic download that felt urgent. I then said, for the next few weeks, it is going to be important not to listen to anyone that is much more unhealed and unenlightened than you. I looked over and saw Jada's face after I said that. I could tell she took what I said seriously. I then began thinking about how she took it seriously. I was surprised that she actually took my advice for once and that she didn't receive the download first. I hope y'all are putting the pieces together as I'm reading everything I'm saying. 733, my angel number. And it's 11:17 p.m., my other angel number. I then attempted to continue on with my day, and she just kept coming up in my head. When this began, I went to her Instagram page because I was confused whether or not it was a download judging me to contact her or not. I think I meant to say telling me to contact her or not. When I checked my Instagram inbox, I thought she had sent me a new message, but she didn't. It was just an old post I saw that for some reason looked new to me at first. Please pay attention to that part. Oh my God. I went under the comments of one of her posts and I saw Mia comment, so cool, and I got alarmed until I looked at the date that said 3 years ago. I continued to scroll through the comment section, and I noticed that I kept seeing threes in majority. I kept in mind that it could possibly mean something. Then I moved and I asked myself about 5 to 10 plus times over and over again, why do I keep thinking about Jada? Why do I keep thinking about Jada? Why do I keep thinking about Jada? The last sentence I heard before I woke up from the dream was, why Jonies? So let's talk about Mia, because she came up in the dream that confirmed that she hexed my beauty, and she came up in this dream. So Mia was a friend. She was one of my best friends from the past. Like I said, her and I didn't end off on a bad note. We just pretty much, with age and throughout the years, evolved out of each other, as sometimes relationships do. But there was a phase in my friendship with Mia where I was extremely toxic. And during this phase, I was just coming into like teenagehood. And, I had so much unhealed issues residing in me. I was in foster care. I didn't have, any mother or father figures or just any general like support, really. Like I had no stability in my life, and I was extremely jealous, extremely mean. I just wasn't in a good position, and I wasn't a great friend, right? Of course, I evolved out of that, and I am the woman I am today. But even before becoming as awesome as I am today, and yes, I'm going to boost myself up and love myself, because I shouldn't have to get authorization from anyone else to tell me whether I'm awesome or not. Bitch, I'm fucking awesome. Before I even became as healed and knowledgeable and wise as I am, as I'm making this voice clip, while I was in connection with Jada as friends, and after like, I'd say maybe a year or two after, me and I would have our blow ups, we became friends again. And our friendship was much more smoother, much more lift. And I actually knew how to be a good friend to her. And that made me feel so good that I had a chance to right my wrongs with her and show her like, hey, like, although I was going through this rough time, this is who I really am. And this is me and my better potential, right? But when I think of my relationship with Mia when I was, maybe 14, 13, just coming into teenagehood, not my best self. I think of someone that I really don't fucking like. I don't like that person. I don't like that person that I used to be. And don't get me wrong, I can embrace my shadow. I know my higher shadow potentials, and I know my lower shadow potentials, right? But the person that I was when I was with Mia was someone who was mostly shadow. So I feel like Mia came up in these dreams to show me how this person was trying to get me back to that point where I was 90 to 80% shadow and the rest percent, just a little bit of light or no light at all, if they could have made that possible. Excuse me for my indigestion. I burped in like a lot of these fucking voice clips, bro. I'm sorry. But the way in which it manifests in the first dream, it's like, I'm going to corrupt you. I'm going to corrode you. I'm going to make you regress, make you how you were with Mia by making you feel ugly. The way in which it manifests in this dream is, I am putting you under an illusion, or from my Madala's point of view, this person has put you under an illusion that things are going to change within your relationship with them, that things are going to get better, that there is a point and a purpose of being in connection with them, and there simply was not, right? So I'm going to read it again and let you all to put the pieces together for y'all if y'all are not well with decoding dreams. So I said what I said about the download. And I said, when this began, I went to her Instagram page because I was confused about whether or not it was a download telling me to contact her or not. When I checked my Instagram inbox, I thought she had sent me a new message, but she didn't. It was just an old post that for some reason looked new to me at first. It looked new to me at first because I was under the illusion that there could be newness, that there could be hope for us in the potential of evolving into, if not a friendship, a stable professional relationship. It was just an old post. And when I went under one of the comments of the post, I saw Mia comment, "So cool." I got alarmed until I looked at the date that said 3 years ago, right? So I was afraid of Mia going to Jada's page and commenting in the dream because I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, what if, she's taking my place, right? But they made the point that they made with showing that it was the comment from Mia was 3 years ago, was letting me know, like, hey, you're no longer in that type of mindset. You're no longer in that type of energy. You were more prone to being in that energy 3 years ago or prior or after that, Because like I said, I feel like I wasn't as evolved as I am now when I first got into connection with Jada, which was 3 years ago. But we were not friends for 3 years, nor were we that close for 3 years. But maybe a year or so after I got out of connection with Mia for the first time, that's when I really began to evolve and heal. But regardless of the number 3, they were just making a point that that's not who I was anymore. Especially with signifying that the comment was old. So now I'm going to decode the other parts of the dream. The group of people coming up to me telling me someone at the shelter was being dogmatic and having a superiority complex towards them. That's pretty self-explanatory. Most people would disregard parts of the dream that are like this because they're like, oh, well, she wasn't one of those people. Jada wasn't one of those people, so I can't associate that with her. But why is she in the dream in the first place? And why was she in the other dreams that I had? In the other dreams, like, we just have to put 2 and 2 together. Then I was standing across from Jada. I got a cognitive psychic download that felt urgent. I said for the next few weeks, it's going to be important not to listen to anyone that is much more unhealed and unenlightened than you. I looked over at her face and I can tell she began to take it seriously. I was surprised that she took my advice and that she didn't receive the download first. So that in itself was saying to me, Jonice, you don't believe it, but you are actually more evolved than this person. You are actually more in divine alignment than this person. The fact that I got the download first and she didn't was showing me that I am in more divine alignment and I'm more ascended than her, more healed, more capable and equipped than I thought at that time. She listened to me telling her that. It wasn't the other way around. These teachers will have y'all thinking that they're above you just because they went in the textbook or they, learn from an elder and retain information. Being spiritually ascended, being spiritually honorable and valuable goes way beyond retaining information. It is something your being has to be equipped for, something your soul has to be equipped for. And that is not something that solely comes from another person or some earthly object like Google or a textbook. Now, if you already have that equipment and you marry it with knowledge from outside sources, that is correct knowledge, that makes you even better. But it goes deeper than that. So, yeah, that was pretty much that dream. And this dream was pretty much letting me know, like, she's trying to make you feel incapable, but you are more than you realize. You have it. And this is why you don't need her. You keep going back to her Instagram thinking that, oh, maybe something new will be there. Maybe, she'll message me and there will be a new bud of our connection. But there's just going to be stagnancy. There's just going to be going around in a circle. So, yeah. And for even further clarity, I call this person high vibrational at the time of me writing that email and sending some of the text messages that you will see in the story times before this, because I was still in denial. I was still trying to make excuses for them because it's like I had Stockholm syndrome, bro. Like, I just couldn't fathom that they would be demonic or low vibrational to me. Even though their actions were saying otherwise, I was trying to make excuses for them. So although I was like confronting them and addressing certain negative things that they did, a part of myself was still believing that they were at least mostly high vibrational, despite this whole pile of shit that they've thrown at me. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that this is not the type of behavior that you should expect from someone that is high vibrational.